Admiral Jack Morrison had commanded Earth's fleets for 15 years, but nothing had prepared him for this moment. The bridge of his flagship, the UES Defiance, trembled as alien plasma fire erupted across the darkness of space. Have been a routine joint training exercise with the Galactic Council had transformed into humanity's darkest hour. Contact on all vectors, Lieutenant Amy Rodriguez shouted over the screaming alarms. Her fingers danced across the tactical display as red warning lights bathed the bridge in an ominous glow. Sir, they're everywhere. Jack's weathered face remained stone cold as he watched the trap unfold. For months, the Council had insisted on this exercise. Earth's fleets scattered across 3 star systems, supposedly to demonstrate interspecies cooperation. Now he understood the true purpose, as the aliens had positioned humanity's forces exactly where they wanted them. Isolated, divided, and vulnerable. The first wave of enemy ships decloaked like predators emerging from the shadows. Massive Krillian dreadnoughts, their hulls bristling with weapons that violated every treaty humanity had ever signed. Andorian destroyers, sleek and deadly, moving with the precision of a coordinated strike force. And behind them, the unmistakable silhouettes of Council enforcement vessel ships that had once escorted human diplomats, now turned their guns on Earth's children. Sir, the Third Fleet is requesting immediate assistance. Rodriguez's voice cracked with desperation. Admiral, Chen's flagship is taking heavy fire. Jack's heart hammered against his ribs as he watched humanity's finest vessels burn like dying stars. The U's Resolute, a carrier that had served Earth for 30 years, exploded in a brilliant flash of light. 3,000 souls extinguished. In an instant, the destroyer Pathfinder, its hull breached in venting atmosphere, spun helplessly as alien fighters swarmed around it like metallic vultures. But here's what the aliens didn't understand. About humans, we're at our most dangerous. When we're cornered, Jack had learned this lesson in the asteroid wars of his youth, when pirates had ambushed his first command. Sometimes the best strategy isn't to fight harder, but to think faster. Rodriguez, get me a tactical analysis of their formation, he commanded, his voice cutting through the chaos. And someone tell me why our long-range sensors didn't detect this fleet? The answer came from his communications officer, Lieutenant Tom Bradley. Sir, they've been using our own sensor dampeners against us. The technology we shared with the Council, they've weaponized it. Jack's jaw clenched so hard he thought his teeth might crack. The betrayal ran deeper than he'd imagined. For decades, humanity had shared its innovations freely with the galactic community. Advanced shielding, quantum communications, even the hyperspace jump coordinates that had allowed rapid expansion across the galaxy. Now those same gifts were being used to orchestrate Earth's destruction. Sir, we're receiving a transmission from the Krillian flagship, Bradley reported. They're demanding our unconditional surrender. Jack almost laughed. Almost. Tell them humanity doesn't know that word. The bridge fell silent except for the distant rumble of weapons fire. Every officer understood the weight of this moment. This wasn't just a military defeat. It was an attempt at genocide disguised as a training exercise. The Council had grown tired of humanity's rapid expansion, our tendency to question authority, our refusal to accept limitations. Admiral, the Fifth Fleet is reporting 60% casualties, Rodriguez said, her voice barely above a whisper. They're requesting permission to retreat. Jack closed his eyes for a moment, seeing the faces of friends and colleagues who would never return home. Captain Maria Santos, who'd served with him during the Proxima crisis. Commander Robert Hayes, whose daughter had just started at the Naval Academy. Good people, betrayed by those they'd trusted. You know what they say about the best-laid plans? They rarely survive first contact with human stubbornness. Negative on the retreat, Jack said, opening his eyes with newfound determination. Ships. Emergency jump to Luna Base. We're not running, we're regrouping. The hyperspace jump couldn't come soon enough. As the stars elongated into streams of light, Jack felt the weight of command settling on his shoulders like a lead blanket. Behind them, the alien fleet celebrated their victory. Believing they'd dealt humanity a crippling blow, but they'd made a critical error in their calculations. They'd left witnesses. Sir, we're receiving emergency transmissions from across the galaxy, Bradley reported. Human colonies, trading posts, diplomatic missions, they're all under attack. This isn't just a military operation. It's a coordinated extermination. Jack's hands trembled with rage as the full scope of the betrayal became clear. While Earth's fleets had been scattered and vulnerable, the Council had moved against human. Civilians, families, children. Innocent people who'd never held a weapon in their lives. The aliens had forgotten something crucial about humanity. We're not just warriors when we have to be. We're survivors. And we remember everything, Rodriguez. Send a priority transmission to Earth Command. Full military alert. Tell them the Council has declared war on humanity through treachery and deceit. Jack's voice carried the weight of absolute authority. And tell them Admiral Morrison recommends we respond in kind. As the Defiance limped through hyperspace. Its hull scarred, but intact. Jack's mind was already racing ahead. The aliens thought they'd won by striking first. They'd succeeded only in awakening something they should have feared: humanity's capacity for absolute warfare. The real war was just beginning. And the galaxy was about to learn why Earth's species had conquered their own world before reaching for the stars, ready to discover how small actions can create massive changes over time. Check out my next video about the incredible power of compounding. It's not just about money. It's about building unstoppable momentum in every area of your life. Click the end screen now to unlock this game-changing concept 2 miles beneath the lunar surface. Colonel Mike Thompson felt the emergency alert vibrate through his chest like a physical blow. For 37 years, he'd served in the shadows, building humanity's greatest secret while the galaxy slept peacefully above. Now, as red warning lights bathed the underground command center in crimson, that secret was about to become the aliens' worst nightmare. "Sir, we're receiving Admiral Morrison's emergency transmission." Captain Lisa Parker called out, her voice cutting through the controlled chaos of the operations center. "The Council has sprung their trap. Earth's main fleet has been decimated." Weathered hands gripped the command railing as he watched the tactical display update with devastating clarity. Humanity's official navy, the ships the galaxy knew about, was burning across 3 star systems. Good men and women dying because their leaders had trusted the wrong aliens. But here's what the Council didn't know. They'd only destroyed the decoy. The Prometheus project had been born from a simple question that haunted military strategists for decades. What if our alien allies weren't really allies at all? What if humanity's rapid expansion across the galaxy had made us a threat that needed to be eliminated? The answer lay buried beneath lunar rock, hidden from prying alien sensors and galactic treaties. "Captain Parker, open the primary blast doors," Mike commanded, his voice steady, despite the fury building in his chest. "It's time to wake the real fleet." The massive doors, each one thick enough to withstand a direct nuclear strike, began their slow, grinding ascent. Beyond them lay humanity's true answer to galactic politics, a fleet designed not for exploration or diplomacy, but for absolute warfare. Ships that existed in no official registry, built with technologies that violated every treaty Earth had ever signed. You know what they say about the best-kept secrets? They're usually the ones worth keeping. Sir Admiral Morrison's flagship is requesting immediate sanctuary, reported Lieutenant Jake Williams from the communications station. "They're badly damaged, but still combat-ready." Mike nodded grimly as he watched the underground shipyard come alive with deadly purpose. For 50 years, humanity's shadow fleet had grown in secret, while Earth's diplomats smiled and shook hands with alien dignitaries. Military engineers had been designing weapons that would make the galaxy tremble. The aliens thought they knew humanity's capabilities. They were about to learn how catastrophically wrong they were. "Deploy Reaper Squadron," Mike ordered, his voice carrying the weight of absolute authority. "Wake the Titan battleships from stasis and prep the Nova torpedoes. If the Council wants a war, they'll get one they'll never forget." The underground facility stretched for miles in every direction, a testament to human paranoia and engineering brilliance. Massive automated systems hummed to life, awakening ships that had slept in cryogenic storage for decades. Destroyers were humanity's first answer to alien aggression leak. Deadly vessels designed to hunt and kill with surgical precision. But the real monsters lay deeper in the facility, Captain. Tom Bradley had been waiting for this moment his entire career. As the EU's vengeance powered up its experimental weapons systems, he felt a cold smile spread across his face. The ship beneath his feet was more than a vessel, it was a manifestation of humanity's darkest potential. Every system, every weapon, every line of code had been designed with one purpose: to make the galaxy bleed. "Captain, all systems are green," reported his tactical officer, Lieutenant Sarah Mitchell. "The quantum disruptors are online, and the singularity torpedoes are armed. We're ready for immediate deployment." Tom's fingers caressed the command console as he felt the ship's artificial intelligence sync with his neural implants. The Vengeance wasn't just a ship, it was an extension of his will, a weapon that could think and adapt in real time. The aliens had no idea what they were about to face. "Sir, the Titan battleships are coming online," Captain Parker announced. "All 12 vessels report ready for immediate deployment." Mike allowed himself a moment of satisfaction as he watched. The tactical display update. The Titans were humanity's ultimate weapon, kilometer-long behemoths that could crack planets and extinguish stars. Each one carried enough firepower to level entire star systems. They were the reason humanity had never needed to fear alien aggression until now. "Colonel Admiral Morrison's fleet is entering the facility," Williams reported. "They're requesting immediate repairs and resupply." Mike watched as the battered remnants of Earth's official navy limped into the underground harbor. These were good ships, crewed by brave men and women who'd believed in the promise of galactic cooperation. Now, they'd learned the harsh truth about alien intentions. But here's what the aliens didn't understand about humans: we learn from our mistakes, and we never make the same one twice. Admiral Morrison to Prometheus Command came the familiar voice over the COM system. "Colonel Thompson, it's time to show these bastards what humanity is really capable of." Mike's smile was cold as winter on Pluto. "Welcome to the real war, Admiral. I hope you're ready to make the galaxy remember why they feared us in the first place." The underground facility shuddered as the first wave of ships began their ascent. To the surface, Reaper destroyers, their hulls black as the void between stars. Titan battleships, massive and unstoppable. And behind them, weapons that existed only in the nightmares of alien strategists. The Council had made a fatal error in their calculations. They'd attacked humanity's public face while ignoring the monster that lurked beneath. Now that monster was awakening, and it was hungry for revenge. As the Shadow Fleet emerged from its lunar tomb, Mike felt the weight of history settling on his shoulders. The galaxy was about to learn that humanity's greatest strength wasn't its technology or its courage, it was its ability to plan for the unthinkable. The real war was just beginning, and the aliens were about to discover they'd picked a fight with the wrong species. Want to understand how decades of secret preparation can create unstoppable momentum? My next video reveals the hidden power of compounding, how small, consistent actions build into forces that can change everything. Click the end screen now to discover this game-changing principle. The Krillian Fortress Station. Outpost 9 had stood as an impregnable guardian of the galactic border for 3 centuries. Its massive shields had repelled pirate fleets, survived supernovas, and weathered the test of time itself. The alien commanders stationed there believed their fortress was invincible, a monument to Krillian engineering and council superiority. They were wrong. Admiral Jack Morrison watched from the bridge of his flagship as the Shadow Fleet emerged from hyperspace like death itself. The UES Vengeance led the charge, Captain Tom Bradley's destroyer cutting through space with predatory grace. Behind it came the Reaper Squadron Welf ships that existed in no official registry, armed with weapons that defied every galactic treaty. "Target acquired," Bradley's voice crackled over the COM. Commencing attack run. The first quantum cannon blast struck Outpost 9's shields with the force of a collapsing star. The energy barrier designed to withstand anything the galaxy could throw at it flickered and died like a candle in a hurricane. The aliens inside had exactly 30 seconds to realize their mistake before the second volley turned their fortress into expanding plasma. "Jesus," whispered Lieutenant Amy Rodriguez from her position aboard the Vengeance. "Did we just do that?" The answer came in the form of twisted metal and vaporized dreams. 300 years of Krillian pride, obliterated in 12 minutes. But here's what the aliens didn't understand about humans. When you betray us, we don't just fight back. We demonstrate exactly why you should have thought twice. This is Admiral Morrison to all Council forces. Jack's voice boomed across subspace frequencies, carrying the weight of humanity's fury to every corner of the galaxy. You wanted to eliminate humanity through treachery. You have failed. No. Face the consequences. The words hit the galactic communication networks like a shockwave. On 1,000 worlds, in 1,000,000 alien homes, the message was clear. The peaceful humans were gone. In their place stood something far more dangerous, a species that had learned to embrace its capacity for absolute warfare. But Morrison wasn't finished. As the debris from Outpost 9 spread across the void, he opened a channel to every alien vessel within range. To all ships bearing Council colors, you have exactly 60 seconds to surrender unconditionally. After that, we will demonstrate why. Your leaders chose treachery over open warfare. The response was predictable. Alien captains, trained in the old ways of galactic diplomacy, believed they could negotiate. They thought humanity would return to the bargaining table, that this was simply a show of force to improve Earth's position in future talks. They were about to learn how catastrophically wrong they were. You know what they say about assumptions? They make an ass out of you and, well, in this case, they make you dead. Sir, the Krillian cruiser Dominator is requesting parley, reported Communications Officer Jake Williams. They're offering to discuss terms. Morrison's laugh was cold as the void between stars. Terms. They had their chance for terms when they chose betrayal over honor. Target that cruiser and show them what humanity's terms look like. The Reaper. Squadron moved with mechanical precision, their black holes reflecting nothing but the light of dying alien ships. Captain Bradley's tactical display showed 12 enemy vessels attempting to form a defensive formation, a textbook maneuver that might have worked against any other species. But humanity had spent 50 years studying alien tactics, learning their weaknesses, preparing for this exact moment. The Shadow Fleet didn't just outgun the Council for Sisit, outhot them. Deploying Nova torpedoes, Bradley announced, his voice steady, despite the magnitude of what he was about to unleash. Target the cruiser's engine core. The torpedo streaked through space like a fallen star, its warhead containing enough destructive power to level a city. When it struck the Dominator's hull, the explosion created a brief artificial sun. The cruiser simply ceased to exist, its atoms scattered across light years of space. Sir, we're receiving distress calls from border stations throughout the sector, Rodriguez reported. They're requesting immediate Council reinforcements. Morrison's smile was sharp as a blade. At them call. The Shadow Fleet has already destroyed every communication relay within 50 light years. No help is coming. This was the genius of humanity's strategy, not just to strike hard, but to strike smart. While the Council's main fleets were scattered across the galaxy, believing they'd won a decisive victory, Earth's Shadow Fleet was systematically dismantling the alien communication network. Fear was spreading through the galaxy like wildfire, and the aliens had no way to coordinate their response. Admiral, 3 more border stations are requesting immediate surrender, Rodriguez continued, her voice carrying a note of something that might have been satisfaction. They're offering to provide intelligence on Council fleet movements. The bridge fell silent as everyone waited for Morrison's response. This was the moment that would define humanity's future. Would they show mercy to those who begged for it? Or would they demonstrate the true cost of betrayal? Morrison's voice, when it came, was ice cold. No prisoners, no mercy. They chose this path when they betrayed us. The words hung in the air like a death sentence. Around the galaxy, alien commanders, listening to the transmission, felt their blood turn to ice. The humans they'd known, explorers, diplomats, traitors, were gone. In their place stood something that understood only one language: absolute force. Sir, the station commanders are pleading for their lives, Williams reported. They're saying they were just following orders. Morrison's response was swift and final. So were the guards at the concentration camps. Fire at will. The Reaper Squadron moved like a pack of wolves, their quantum cannons turning alien fortresses into expanding clouds of superheated gas. Each destroyed station sent a message that rippled across subspace. Humanity was no longer playing by the UHE Galaxy's rules. But this was only the beginning. As the Shadow Fleet regrouped and prepared for the next phase of their campaign, Morrison opened a secure channel to Earth Command. Colonel Thompson, Phase 1, complete. The Galaxy now knows we're serious. Time to show them what serious really means. The response came immediately. Understood, Admiral. The Titan battleships are moving to their assigned positions. The real war starts now. As the human fleet vanished into hyperspace, leaving behind only destruction and terror, the Galaxy began to understand a fundamental truth. They had awakened something that should have been left sleeping. Humanity's age of vengeance had begun. And there would be no mercy for those who had chosen treachery over honor. Ready to discover how small, consistent actions can build into unstoppable force? My next video reveals the hidden power of compounding, the same principle that built humanity's secret fleet over 50 years. Click the end screen now to unlock this game-changing concept. Androsia Prime had stood as the jewel of the Galactic Council for over a millennium. Its crystalline cities stretched across continents, home to billions of aliens who had never known the touch of war. The planet's orbital defenses were legendary, ring after ring of automated weapon platforms, shielded stations, and the combined fleets of 7 species standing guard like metallic sentinels. The Council's military strategists had run the calculations 1,000 times. Androsia Prime was mathematically impossible to conquer. Any attacking force would be detected days before arrival, giving defenders time to rally overwhelming numbers. The planet's star itself had been weaponized, its solar flares capable of frying entire fleets. They had planned for every conceivable threat except one: humanity's complete abandonment of civilized warfare. Admiral Jack Morrison stood on the bridge of his flagship, watching the tactical display with the cold satisfaction of a man who had seen his friends die and chosen revenge over mercy. Around him, the Shadow Fleet moved through hyperspace like a pack of predators approaching their prey.
Admiral.
"We're approaching the Androsia system," reported Captain Lisa Parker. "Enemy fleet strength is ... substantial. 700 ships, all capital class." Morrison's smile was sharp as broken glass. 700 ships built for the old kind of war. They were about to learn that humanity writes new rules. The first ship to emerge from hyperspace was the UES Prometheus, a Titan-class battleship that defied every treaty the Galaxy had ever signed. At 2 kilometers long, it was more than a vessel. It was a monument to human engineering and alien nightmares. Captain David Walsh had handpicked his crew from volunteers who had lost everything in the Council's betrayal. "Sir, enemy fleet is moving to intercept," reported Lieutenant Sarah Mitchell from the tactical station. "They're forming the classic 7-tier defensive formation." Walsh's laugh was devoid of humor. "Classic formation for a classic species. Show them what evolution looks like." But here's what the aliens didn't understand about humans. We don't just adapt to new situations. We create situations that force everyone else to adapt to us. The Prometheus's primary weapon began to charge, drawing power from the ship's miniaturized black hole reactor. The gravitic lance was humanity's answer to the question, what if we could weaponize physics itself? The energy readings climbing on Walsh's display would have been impossible just 50 years ago. "Initiating stellar disruption protocol," Walsh announced, his voice carrying the weight of absolute authority. "Target, Androsa's star." The bridge fell silent, except for the hum of charging weapons. Every officer understood the magnitude of what they were about to attempt. This wasn't just an attack on a planet Tit, it was an assault on the natural order itself. The gravitic lance reached across space at the speed of light, an invisible finger of death touching the system's star with surgical precision. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the star began to convulse, its nuclear furnace destabilizing under the weapon's influence. "Sir, stellar disruption successful," Mitchell reported, solar flare building to maximum intensity. The flare that erupted from Androsa's star was a thing of terrible beauty, a wall of superheated plasma racing outward at millions of miles per hour. The Andrarian defense fleet, caught in perfect formation, had exactly 30 seconds to realize their mistake. You know what they say about perfect formations? They make perfect targets. The solar flare struck the alien fleet like the fist of an angry god. Ship after ship simply vanished, their hulls vaporized by temperatures that matched the star's core. 700 vessels, representing centuries of alien military tradition, became nothing more than expanding clouds of ionized gas. Jesus Christ, whispered Communications Officer Jake Williams. Did we just kill a star? Walsh's response was matter of fact. We wounded it. The star will recover in a few thousand years. The Council fleet won't. On the planet's surface, billions of aliens watched their protectors die in seconds. The orbital defense platforms designed to repel conventional attacks were swept away. Like leaves in a hurricane. The mighty fleets they'd counted on for protection were simply ... gone. But humanity wasn't finished. As the stellar radiation cleared, Admiral Morrison's main fleet emerged from hyperspace like demons materializing from hell. The Reaper Squadron, the Shadow Destroyers, the experimental weapons platforms all converging on a planet that had suddenly become defenseless. This is Admiral Morrison to the Androrian High Command. His voice boomed across planetary communication networks. Your fleets are destroyed. Your defenses are gone. You have 1 hour to surrender unconditionally, or we will demonstrate why. Your council chose treachery over open warfare. The response came in the form of desperate alien voices, pleading for mercy, offering negotiations, promising concessions. But Morrison had heard these same species celebrate Earth's destruction just days before. The time for mercy had passed. Sir, we're receiving surrender offers from civilian populations, reported Lieutenant Amy Rodriguez. They're saying they had no part in the Council's decision. Morrison's face could have been carved from stone. The Council made this choice for their entire species. They wanted to see humanity exterminated. Now they can watch their own worlds burn. The attack that followed was methodical, precise, and absolutely devastating. Human ships moved with mechanical precision, their weapons turning alien cities into craters of glass. This wasn't conquest, it was demonstration. The galaxy needed to understand that humanity's patience had limits. Admiral, we're receiving emergency transmissions from across the galaxy, Williams reported. Council fleets are abandoning 12 sectors. They're calling it a strategic withdrawal, but it's a full retreat, Morrison finished. You're finally learning to fear us. Good. Fear keeps species honest. Captain Parker's voice carried a note of amazement. Sir, we're getting surrender offers from systems we haven't even attacked. Yet word is spreading faster than our fleet can move. This was the genius of humanity's strategy, not just to win battles, but to win them so decisively that the enemy lost the will to fight. The Council had bet everything on their opening betrayal. Now they were learning that humanity's greatest strength wasn't its technology or its courage. It was its ability to learn from pain and turn that lesson into something terrible, as Androsia Prime burned beneath them. Morrison opened a channel to the remaining Council worlds. This is Admiral Morrison of the Terran Defense Force. Today you witness the price of betrayal. Tomorrow, you'll learn the cost of continued resistance. Galaxy was learning to fear humanity again. But this was only the beginning of Earth's campaign for justice, and the aliens were about to discover that human justice could be far more terrible than human mercy. Want to see how small, consistent actions can build into world-changing power? My next video reveals the hidden force of compounding, the same principle that built humanity's secret fleet over decades. Click the end screen now to discover this game-changing concept. The Galactic Council. Chambers had witnessed the rise and fall of civilizations for over 2,000 years. Today they would witness something unprecedented, the birth of humanity's Galactic Empire. The vast assembly hall, capable of holding representatives from 1,000 worlds, fell silent as Admiral Jack Morrison's battle-scarred face materialized on the central holographic display behind him.
Found the tactical screen painted?
A picture that would have been impossible just weeks ago. 40 star systems now flew Earth's banner, their borders expanding daily as alien forces fled in terror. The blue dots representing human-controlled space spread across the galaxy like a virus, consuming everything in their path. Honored Council, Morrison began, his voice carrying the weight of a species' fury across light years of space. I stand before you not as a diplomat, but as the herald of humanity's judgment upon your betrayal. The assembled aliens shifted nervously in their seats, their various forms of breathing apparatus working overtime as fear filled the chamber. The Krillian delegation huddled together, their proud crests dimmed with defeat. The Andorian survivors sat in shocked silence, still processing the destruction of their homeworld. But Morrison wasn't finished. With deliberate precision, he activated the tactical display, showing the true scope of Earth's hidden fleet. Thousands of ships appeared on the screen's leaked destroyers, massive battleships and weapons platforms that defied every treaty the galaxy had ever signed. You sought to eliminate us through treachery because you feared our potential, Morrison continued, his words cutting through the chamber like a blade. You have succeeded only in unleashing it. From this moment forward, humanity claims its rightful place as the galaxy's ruling power. The silence that followed was deafening. These were beings who had ruled the galaxy for millennia, who had believed themselves the masters of space and time. Now they sat like children in a classroom, learning that their teacher had become their executioner. You know what they say about playing with fire? Eventually, you get burned. And humanity was about to turn the galaxy into an inferno. The Krillian delegate. Admiral Vexcar rose from his seat with the desperation of a dying species. His voice, normally commanding and proud, now shook with barely contained terror. Council will never bow to human tyranny. Morrison's smile was colder than the void between stars, an expression that had haunted alien nightmares since the first human ship had emerged from Earth's shadow fleet. Submission was never an option. You chose war over peace, and now you shall have it until every last one of your worlds burns in the darkness. The words hung in the air like a death sentence. Around the galaxy, alien populations watched their leaders confront the reality of their situation. The species that had tried to exterminate humanity through treachery now faced extinction themselves. Admiral Morrison, came a trembling voice from the vegan delegation. Surely we can reach some accommodation. The council acted hastily, but we can negotiate. Morrison's laugh cut through the plea like a plasma cannon through paper. Negotiate? You have your chance to negotiate when you chose to scatter our fleets and murder our crews. That chance died with every human you killed in your treacherous attack. The tactical display updated in real time, showing the relentless advance of human forces. The UES Prometheus had just entered the Rigel system, its stellar disruption weapons already charging. The Reaper Squadron was moving on the Centauri colonies, their quantum cannons primed for devastation. But perhaps, Morrison continued, his voice taking on a mockingly diplomatic tone, you'd like to hear the terms of your surrender. First, all Council fleets will be decommissioned and their crews imprisoned. Second, every alien world will accept human governors and military oversight. Third, all technology and resources will be redirected to serve humanity's expansion. The chamber erupted in chaos. Alien delegates screamed protests in a dozen languages, their voices creating a cacophony of terror and rage. But Morrison's voice cut through the noise like the roar of a supernova. Or, he said, his words freezing the assembly into silence, you can continue to resist, and we will demonstrate why your ancestors feared the dark between the stars. The transmission flickered, and for a moment, the council saw something that chilled them to their cores. Behind Morrison, Captain Tom Bradley was preparing the UES. Vengeance's Nova Torpedo's weapons capable of cracking planets like eggs. The message was clear. Humanity wasn't bluffing. The choice is yours, Morrison concluded. Surrender now, or watch your worlds burn one by one. You have 24 hours to decide. But here's what the aliens didn't understand about humans. We don't just make threats. We make promises. And humanity had promised to make the galaxy pay for its betrayal. The transmission ended, leaving the council to face their new reality. In the depths of space, The human fleet continued its relentless advance, each victory a testament to the price of betrayal. The Titan battleships moved like ancient gods of war, their weapons turning alien strongholds into expanding clouds of debris. On 1,000 worlds, alien families huddled in their homes, watching the news feeds with growing horror. The peaceful humans, they had known the explorers, the traders, the diplomats were gone. In their place stood something far more dangerous, a species that had learned to embrace its capacity for absolute warfare. Admiral Morrison stood on the bridge of his flagship, watching the tactical display with the satisfaction of a man who had seen his friends die and chosen justice over mercy. Around him, his officers worked with mechanical precision, coordinating the conquest of a galaxy that had made the mistake of underestimating humanity. "We're receiving surrender offers from 17 systems," reported Captain Lisa Parker. "They are requesting immediate protection from the Shadow Fleet." Morrison's smile was sharp as broken glass. "Grant them protection. A good ruler protects his subjects. Just make sure they understand who their ruler is." The galaxy had taught humanity a harsh lesson about trust. Now the students had become the teachers, and class was in session. The age of alien dominance was over. The age of human supremacy had begun, and in the cold depths of space, the Shadow Fleet continued its work, writing humanity's name across the stars in fire and blood, the eon to want, to discover how small consistent actions can build into unstoppable empire-changing power. My next video reveals the hidden force of compounding, the same principle that built humanity's secret fleet. Over 50 years of preparation. Click the end screen now to unlock this game-changing concept that can transform your own life.